afternoon, good evening, or good night. This is Julie with J of Cree Freedom. I want to give the Lord credit for blessing me with his words today that go out to the ends of the earth if people so choose to listen, to uproot and break down, destroy and overthrow, or to build and to plant. Okay, so this rhema, just so y'all know, it's very clear. It switches from personal to going out to a larger audience because of the pronouns for my grammar people out there. So yeah, it definitely is going from me and the Boaz to y'all in a plural pronoun, okay? So just so y'all know, and these are things the Lord has asked me to share today for the sake of the audience. We will be talking about war. There's a small passage for the pastors. It does talk about the 1,000-year reign again. For those of you that are doubting, you'll be getting some blessings, a wife in the next life. Basically, it's not preached about much. You know, there's so many things that the pastors just don't preach about, but okay, I know I have some pastors listening, but I don't want to make them mad, but I was thinking about Samson today and how not many preach about him. Okay. He also talks about reaching the nirvana state, and yeah, there will be some disclosure about some things in my life that as he says it in the rhema, that I never said this to anyone, and it's true. So not my goal to be sharing it here on the channel now that God has worked with me for about a year to stop the self-sabotage. But it is a hint to y'all what he has been talking to me about. So if you're wondering what all those messages are, it's really not something I want to share anymore, and it might explain myself to y'all, but the Lord is choosing what to explain from at this point. It's painful. Like, counseling is painful. I've said it before, the Lord is my counselor. He really is taking me through some painful stuff. So, and every week it's like a high and a low. But he assures me it will reap a harvest in my own life. All right, so he was talking to the Boaz when he says, dude. He says, and he was talking about how my failing health will be going down and be susceptible to things like this. So he says, yeah, dude, think chemtrails, nuclear water. Yeah, dude, you think it, they got it. The weapons, dude, in this sad humanity hour, many people are about to die, hun. And I mean millions. And yeah, babe, someday reaching into the billions. And think, hun, for me all the stenchy stench of yeah, babe. Think dead bodies, dear one. Literally everyone, babe. And yeah, sweetheart. They'll have to start just dumping them into the ocean, folks, of graves, dear ones. Think massive scale graves or cisterns needed for... No, dear ones. The crazy as hell Nazis at the top don't want to do any more of that incinerating the real as hell folks who actually supported our crazy as hell at times policies if they would but just leave the independent little man alone. But they haven't, have they, dear ones? Yeah, babes, my babes of the hour. I speak of money, dear ones. For as my little sparrow astutely pointed out to her silly, shocked, all at the same time, to hear this piece of wisdom or advice come from her sweet lips. Yeah, dudes, I speak of water, and yeah, sons, my sons of the hour, Shiza like that truly should be free, plus a little chance for you to have a small plot of land in your own country for a little old house. Yeah, also a small plot of land for a little old house and a sweet wifey if the Lord so chooses to bless you with one. Wait, dudes, wait for it, sons, my sons of the hour, for some of you are absolutely, so it's true, dear ones, pegged down scheduled for a top-up on this score. He also said on this wifey score in the next life, dear ones. Yeah, so I said it, dudes. Said it before, but did you believe me the first time? Side note, I was thinking about inheritances, and it's true, my parents basically suck, so I don't get any benefits of inheritance. Unless, I don't know. I could see them leaving everything to my sister and my brother, but anyway, since I don't talk to my parents, but I was thinking like with the 1,000-year reign, then we get an inheritance. Many of us will get an inheritance that we may otherwise have literally not been able to receive in this life because we may have selfish parents or they blow all the money or or we've been excommunicated from the family. So I was thinking about that this week, and I think it is from the Lord, that he does want to bless some of us with an inheritance that we never receive in this life. Okay, back to the message. So he said, "Did you believe me the first time?" "Not really, no." "Well, that's all right, my love, because not many pastors at all are fixated on the next life like her. For clinging sons, my sons and daughters of the hour. Well, some of you anyway, and some of you could be, but I digress. Yeah, dudes, think clinging on for dear life too. What are they clinging on to, dear ones? That's right, babes. Think power if you want, dear ones. Calm down, my true pastors of the sweet flocks, or otherwise, listening today for sweet dudes. It's truly a sweet time of fellowship in the cards for you sons, as you see, and it may happen, dear ones. Yeah, dudes, I speak of creditors, nasty, predatorial bankers coming to, yeah, dear ones, so I'm saying it. Shut your doors, or shut you down, dear pastors. Churches closing left and right, dear ones, with the advent of World War III, truly taking over it all. But you, dear ones, will you be shut down in the spiritual realm by then, sweethearts? Hope you are to me anyway. No, dear ones, and no. More like, you better not be, dear pastor. In fact, sons, you better be up on your feet and running. Running, dude. Yes, I mean you, son. I speak of your race in this life, dude. No, not everyone is called to be a prophetess like her. You, dude, what is your office in the spiritual realm, son? Yeah, dude, an officer. For it is the positioning of a pastor type like man to, well, basically keep track of the ranks of soldiers in the Lord's army. And you, dear son, have been a little too focused as of late, dear one, on the non-officers in the Lord's army parading around as such. Hypocrites. Forget them, dear one. And yeah, dude, so I'm saying it. Be my dear son again for real, dude, so we can let bygones be bygones. Water under that bridge, as she so wisely chose to quote for a time. And you, dear ones, what is your mantra? Chakra. Yeah, dear ones, all that bull shiza is truly shiza, dear ones, meant to distract you to what, dear ones? Are you really going to hit the nirvana state in the middle of full blown out, guts blowing out at times of, yeah, dear ones, I speak of war. And also, when he said, if you're going to hit the nirvana state, he also said more like nervous state, more like nervous rattled state. And yeah, dear ones, there are actually verses in the Old Testament that speak of people soiling themselves out of fear. And think, yeah, dear ones, think these words and messages of warning basically obsolete and no longer needed someday of there, dear ones. War will truly be standing before your faces, ready to slap you in the gut. Don't get it twisted, dear ones, like that sentence, babes. Be my babes at that time and realize finally once and for all that, yeah, dear ones, we got a whole nother row to hoe in this life. And no, babes, and no, dear ones, it ain't gonna be fun. More like funsters kicked to the curb and crying, babes, dear ones of, what the F do I do now, Lord? Minus the Lord part of the equation, of course. And you, dear ones, y'all will be there to show them, dear ones. God is serious when he says he wants man to repent before we... Yeah, Leute, so it's happening, dudes. Dear ones, her upcoming death happens to coincide with many in this hour, with many in humanity, and oh, the irony, you say. Well, yes, it truly is ironic, but dreaming of this moment, und wie? For yes, dear ones, pretty much her whole sad life of, when, Lord? When can I peace out, Girl Scout? I'm out of here, B word. Yeah, dudes, it was bad at times. And that Shiza show you saw on YouTube, the tip, dudes, tip of the iceberg for this full-chested, big-brained gal at times of, yeah, Lord, I actually have no effing clue how people lived to be 900 years old and actually liked it. Yeah, guys, I don't know either, especially those who weren't walking with me, but love, dear ones. Okay, just a side note, when the Lord says I don't know, that's always a joke. But love, dear ones, it's finally in the cards this go around for her. Yeah, sons, so it'll be true, dear ones. Finally regret these silly wishes of wanting to die and want to, dear ones. She'll finally for all time be wanting to stick around on this planet when, too late, dear ones, the cards have been cast, and her wish is my command on this one, dear ones. Yeah, dudes, think of a slowly dying my death wish for like cancer, basically, and boom, right before dropping off into the sleep of death, a nuclear bomb goes off in her face. Yeah, dudes, it's been her silly, sick wish for all her life, dear ones, basically, and can't, dear ones. She for sure can't fathom why I am that I am is exposing this sordid to her, dark humor in the mix as well, dear ones, side of herself, to you all today. When no, dear ones, and I am means no one, babes. If I am didn't force her to share this side of herself today. Yeah, dear ones, think that sweet Boaz of a man will be blown away one day to hear the, my dear one actually longs to be blown into dust. Yeah, dudes, think self-sabotage on a massive scale you can't even fathom. Chipping, sons. I am has been chipping away at the low self-worth mountain all her life, and finally, dear ones, it's the gift she really needs to finally collect all her shiza together on the score of, you know what, boys? I think I'm actually finally being loved for who I am and not what's hanging off the front of my torso. And here she cries, for she knows the words are true. You dudes. Okay, when he said I cried, it was when I received it for the first time. You dudes, some of you anyway, would for sure have a serious handful of woman flesh on your hands if you were to take her on, boys. So trust I am that I am when I say, nowhere close, dudes. Some of you are for sure nowhere close in the spiritual realm to that young man of, ready, dudes, for a challenge und wie. Oh, she'll give it to him. And he won't be able to figure his future gal out for many long months of crickets, dudes. All these dusty scenarios gotta dust her A-word off someday for this word of crickets, dear ones. All these scenarios need to remain crickets for him to, yeah, dear ones. So all the right info will come to light at the right time. And you, dear ones, or otherwise, but I digress. Leave it, dear ones. Leave it to me, babes, to slowly reveal her to her new dear one. Yes, dear ones, step by step, as it's meant to be. Not hopping into the sack on the first night of meeting someone. No, dear ones, and no. And shame on you dudes for praising such behavior in women. You know, sons, that's not at all how it ought to be. And he also said, you know, sons, that's not at all how they ought to be operating with you. And careful, dear ones, idolizing such shiza in I am's view. Alright, so I will tell y'all the ending. He did say goodbye twice, which is pretty normal by now. Said, love you, babe, ciao, my sweet little crazy all at the same time Bella. And then he said more, and then he again later said, my hand was hurting really bad. He said, okay, babe, I'll stop. And then I told him I love you, and he said, I love you too, hon, ciao. And that was one of the longer rhemas I've ever received. Remember, to the faithful he shows himself faithful, to the blameless he shows himself blameless, to the pure he shows himself pure, and to the crooked